Interquartile range, right? To find the interquartile range, we need to arrange the numbers in order. That's going to be fun. And then, well, for the median, you work out the middle value. For the the halfway point. For the interquartile range, you need the quarterway point and the three-quarterway point and the difference between the two. One important thing, if you've got 15 students, the halfway value is not half of 15, it's half of one more than 15. So the median point, median, is going to be not the half of the 15th value, but half of the 16th, which is the 8th value. You take the number and you add 1 to it. And that's the halfway point. The quarterway point is the lower quartile. And it's a quarter of one more than the number of values. So a quarter of 16, which is the fourth value. And the three-quarter way value is the upper quartile. That's really 3/4 of 16, which is 12. Maybe I should just make it clear that when I say 16, the reason for that is the 15, the number of values plus 1. So the lower quartile is the fourth value, and that's going to be the quarterway value, and the three-quarter value, the upper quartile, is the 12th value. But we need to put them in order first. So let's start with the lowest number. That would be 1. There's one of those. Then how many 2s have we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 3 2s. So there's a lower quartile. And in fact, if we wanted to just work out the lower quartile and upper quartile, we could cheat and start from the back. So I'm going to do that now. The highest mark is 9. The next highest mark is 7. And then there's a whole bunch of 6s. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6s. Because the quarterway value and three-quarterway value is symmetrical, if the lower quartile is the fourth value long, the upper quartile will be the fourth value at the end. So we know that the difference between the lower quartile and the upper quartile, the interquartile range, is going to be 6 minus 2, which is 4. But if that was too much shortcutting for you, I'll fill in the rest of the numbers. After the 3 2s, we've got 5 5s. You can see that here. So 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. And if you didn't want to use the shortcut method, you can now see that if you count along 4 values, 8 values, 12 values, the 12th value is the upper quartile is 6. So upper quartile, three-quarter value is 6. Lower quartile, quarter value is 2. Difference between them, interquartile range, 4. Then it says the students in class B took the same test, and it's a good job we did the whole thing because now we can see the median. The median in this case was the 8th value, and that's the median, which is 5. And so it says the second class took the same test and had a median of 7 and an interquartile range of 2. So we need to look at the differences between the medians and the differences between the interquartile ranges and interpret them. Now, median is a measure of average. It's a measure of a typical value. It's like the mean or the mode. So class A, median of 5. Class B, median of 7. Who did better? Clearly, it's class B. So class B had a higher median and therefore typically did better in the test. So you've got to relate it back to the context. A higher median in this case means a higher marks on average in this test, and therefore class B had a higher median and therefore typically better in test. I think most of you will think that's pretty obvious. Comparing the interquartile range is important. What does interquartile range tell us? Well, interquartile range tells us the difference between the values for the student that was a quarter way along and 3/4 of the way along. And the bigger that is, the more spread out the data is. So the higher the interquartile range, the higher the spread of values. So which one's got a higher interquartile range? It's class A. Had a higher interquartile, well actually, if I say class A had a higher interquartile range, the values were more spread out. It's probably easier to say that if you have a lower interquartile range and therefore a lower spread, they were more consistent. So class B had a lower interquartile range and were therefore more consistent in their marks than class A. Low spread means more consistency. Higher spread means greater variety. That's two ways of saying the same thing, really. So just watch out for those comparisons because they don't come up often, but you need to know what you have to say.